9/11, we remember. While time has gone by, it's almost impossible to erase the images and heartache from that day.
Almost 3,000 people were killed when 4 planes deliberately crashed in New York, D.C. and Pennsylvania. Matt Newell from Cranston worked for American Airlines and was on Flight 11. She was one of 13 people from southern New England killed on that Tuesday. For the first time on TV, her son Matt sits down and talks about how that day changed his life. A moment in time.
It was a day I'll obviously never forget.
That changed the world forever.
I can't imagine the feeling that those humans faced on those airplanes.
Almost 3,000 people lost their lives on September 11th, 2001. Cranston's Matt Newell was a flight attendant for American Airlines. Renee and her friend Carol Bouchard from Warwick were on Flight 11 that Tuesday morning, headed to California and eventually Las Vegas. Renee's son Matt was a 4th grader here at St. Rocco School in Johnston. Did you get angry about that day and what happened?
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes later at night, or sometimes during the day, but not really. I try not to get angry about it because it's in the past. What am I going to get angry about now?
The average age for a child who lost a parent on 9/11 was 9. Matt turned 9 2 months later. A terrorist attack hard to comprehend for anyone, especially someone as young as Matt.
At that age, like you said, it was a terrorist attack. It really didn't make any sense. And I think it took me a while for me to truly understand why. And that was the toughest part, was there was really no answers for some time. Remembering back to that, there was only so much my family could say to me or us in that matter, because we're still trying to put the pieces together of how did this happen, why did it happen? And I think that's the toughest part to kind of get over.
So does it bring back good memories being in the building?
Oh yeah.
We met up with Matt at St. Rocco School. His classroom number was 205.
It's been some time since I've been back here.
Matt was in the playground with his classmates when his world was about to change.
All I heard from my teacher was that I needed to go to the principal's office because my dad was here to pick me up early. So she walked me up to my classroom where I got my bag and my lunch box. I was excited as all heck, because getting to go home from school early is sometimes a blessing for us kids, but unfortunately it wasn't.
The car ride home, silent. After watching the aftermath unfold on TV, Matt and his dad went to his aunt's house, a scene he'll never forget.
At that time, that was probably the hardest part of the whole thing, was just seeing the grieving that my grandmother and my aunts had. And it was almost like hysteria in a sense. It wasn't like crying. It was yelling and screaming, and there was a lot of emotions. And again, as a 9-year-old, it was really tough to kind of comprehend. But I knew something. It was bigger than just a death.
Matt tells me not recovering his mother's remains is a double-edged sword. While he would like to have a piece of her back, his family still found comfort in knowing she was not suffering. Still, questions remain.
It was the unknown, I think, is why the grieving was so intense, was because you truly had no idea really what was going to happen.
Helping with the grieving process, this tree outside the school, a reminder of what Renee and the other victims meant to so many.
And every time someone walks by there, they're going to have to find or hear the story of why this is here and why it was dedicated to like you said, not just me and my family and my mother, but the rest of the people who lost a life.
He knows the reality of what happened, but wishes he could have one last chance to talk and hold his mom close to his heart.
One thing I would love to do with her, and this is again in the future, but at my wedding, have that dance with her.
The way you've lived your life, I'm sure your mom is extremely proud of you.
Yep.
And she lives through you.
Yeah, absolutely. She's got the best seat in the house, and there definitely are a lot of moments where I feel her on my shoulder, or something happens where I'm like, thank God that I know that was her. And those bring smiles to my face every time it happens. It happens somewhat often. I always find the clock at 9/11, and I know it's just a sign, almost like a hi. How are you? So yeah, I would absolutely think she'd be happy with where I'm at as a family guy and a man.
Matt tells me the school was there for his family well after the 9/11 attacks. A prayer service honoring all of the September 11th victims will take place this Friday morning outside St. Rocco School in Johnston at 8:30 a.m.